stories, they all have an important message. They all have a purport. Take for example, in the 6th canto, we're discussing the story of Arjuna. What's the background? The background is that Parikshit Maharaj, being concerned about the welfare of the people. In the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam, you read about the hellish planets. How many of you have read the hellish planet explanation in the 5th canto? Scary, isn't it? Sometimes people read the 5th canto and see that explanation, they get scared. So, in the 5th canto, Shukadeva Goswami explains the hellish planets, which means how, for different types of sinful activities, we have to enter into different hellish planets. So Parikshit Maharaj, when he heard this explanation of the hellish planets, he felt very compassionate. He felt very concerned. And he was meditating, how can people be freed from entering the hellish planet? As Prabhupada explains in the purport, in the 4th canto, Vaishnava Dukha Dukhi. That means, seeing others in distress, we also get distressed. And the Vaishnava is always thinking, how can I help others progress spiritually? In the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam, there is an example given. A gentleman, when he sees a blind man walking on the wrong side of the street, what does he do? What does he do? He holds his hand and puts him on the right track. So, similarly, a devotee, his endeavor is to guide society. So Parikshit Maharaj inquired from Shukadeva Goswami, how can those who are on the wrong path be saved from going to hell? And Parikshit Maharaj gave an example. An elephant takes a bath in the lake and then comes down to the lake, rubs his body and becomes dirty again. So he wanted to know, how can this sinful tendency be eradicated from the heart? And in response to this, Shukadeva Goswami said, in the very ancient scriptures, there is a story. So this story of Ajamil that you hear very often must be at least 7,000-8,000 years old. Why? When 5,000 years old, the Bhagavatam was spoken. And Shukadeva Goswami says, in the ancient scriptures, Puranas, I have heard this story. So 5,000 years ago, he says, this is ancient. So the Bhagavatam presents to us the past times that they have taken place thousands and thousands of years ago. So just see how fortunate we are. And these are real stories. So Shukadeva Goswami explains that it is only through the process of pure devotional service that one can get cleansed of the heart. There are different types of, different paths of self-realization. But to the path of bhakti, one engages with body, mind and senses in service to the Lord, and thereby gets purified. all of you may have your own experience, how after you take to the path of bhakti, you begin to get purified. So Shukadeva Goswami proceeded to explain the story of an individual called Ajñānāt. So this story of Ajñānāt, I'm sure you've heard it many times, has a very, very powerful message. Ajñānāt was born in a Brahminical family. He was exposed to the Vedic culture. He was exposed to spiritual life. And he was married, he had children, but unfortunately, he got attracted to a prostitute that caused his downfall, got him to be engaged in different sinful activities. And as a result, yamraj, the superior of death, decided that Ajñānāt now has sinned so much, he should be brought for punishment. Many modern day individuals don't believe in the eternal nature of the soul. When you talk to them about soul is eternal, they say, no, everything ends with death. Why do they say that? Because they don't want to visualize. I'll take it later. I've been very thin balance. So Ajñānāt, So the modern day society doesn't believe in the eternal nature of the soul. Even though the issue of the presence of the soul is discussed in many scriptures. Even in the Bible, for example, it is stated, what shall I do if I gain? What shall I do if I gain in the whole world but some of the loss of the eternal soul? So, many times people want to know who is witnessing all our actions. Is that right? They don't believe in the presence of the soul. They want to know who is witnessing all our activities. Who is witnessing? Who knows? But that's just one of the many witnesses. There are several witnesses witnessing. The sun god, the moon, the stars, fire god, and in addition to all this, there's the Lord in the heart. So there are many witnesses to all our actions. And to think that there are no witnesses is an illusion. Just like in the material world, you get convicted only if you can bring witness to testify. There are many witnesses to all our activities. And the chief prosecutor, you don't know, is Yamraj. Yamraj keeps a track of all our activities. So to think that you go on sinning and there's no witness is illusion. So there are many witnesses to all our activities. Ajñānāt engaged in sinful activities, but there was one saving grace. He had 10 children, and the youngest of whom was named. So it's a custom or a tradition. You name the children after the names of God. This is very common in Christianity, isn't it? common in Islam, common in Vedic culture. Ajimil had 10 children, the youngest of whom was named Narayan. So when the Yamadutas came to take Ajimil's soul, Ajimil in fear chanted the name of Narayan. Actually, it was addressed to his youngest son, to whom he was excessively attached, and whose name he would chant thousands of times a day. Narayan come here, Narayan go there, Narayan eat prasad. So Ajamil, when he saw these Yamadutas, the Yamadutas are very frightening, and Ajamil got scared, and he uttered the name of Narayan. And as soon as he uttered the name of Narayan, what happened? The Vishnu does appear on the scene. And then the dialogue takes place. So the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that chanted knowingly or unknowingly, you stand to benefit. Just like we go on Harinam, and some people come and join us in a positive mood, some join us in a negative mood. But even those who join us in a negative mood, they also benefit. Why? The holy name is so powerful. You know, many years ago, when Prabhupada first came to India in 1971, after establishing ISKCON in America, Canada, and so on, the movement in India became a big hit. People had never seen Westerners wearing dhoti kurtas and chanting and dancing. So there's a movie star who made a movie called Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, in which he presented that people take drugs and start chanting Hare Krishna. In other words, he was establishing that when people get addicted, that's when they chant and feel high. So devotees went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, this movie is going to give us a bad name. This man is showing if we take drugs and then we feel high, and that's when we start chanting Hare Krishna. We should take this man to the court because this movie is going to spoil our image. Prabhupada said, there's nothing to lose. They hear the holy name and benefit. And about 3 years ago, I initiated one devotee in America. They asked him, how did you become a devotee? And he said, when he was a young boy, there was a movie made Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. He heard the holy name in the movie. He saw the movie so many times just to hear the holy name. And now, as he grew up, he came to America, did his studies, came in touch with ISKCON devotees and became a devotee. So the holy name is very, very powerful. But the holy name can also be chanted in 3 different phases. What are they? One is the offensive state. You chant and commit offenses at the same time. And that's primarily a stage where people are not aware of the offenses, etc. And you chant the holy name, and you may not be following the regulated principles, but you still chant, and that is also beneficial. Then, if you're fortunate enough to associate with devotees, Then you also hear about the importance of offenses. Bhau janma kare yadi shravana kirtana prabhutana paya Krishna pade premadana. Once you come in association of devotees, you get knowledge, and when you apply that knowledge, then that is the intermediate stage, the stage of minimizing offenses. So in the first stage, you just chant. Prabhupada, when he opened the first temple in New York, there were only a few American devotees. He told them to chant. They were chanting. And after a few days of chanting, they all came to Prabhupada on their own and said, Swami, don't you want us to follow some rules and regulations? And then Prabhupada said, this is the day I was waiting for. When you will come to me and ask, do I have to follow some rules? And then Prabhupada gave them the rules. So the point is, how did this happen? The holy names are so pure that even if we chant inattentively, you still benefit. So when you start following the rules and regulations, then the holy name works faster. So the holy name is helpful in every situation. In the initial stage, you chant, and you may not be aware of the rules, etc. But then when you come in association of devotees, and you begin to follow the rules and regulations, then the holy name works faster. And the holy name can be chanted by everyone, regardless of background. It's not that if you want to chant a holy name, you have to have a PhD or something. And this is the program in the stage of Kali. Lord Chaitanya propagated the chanting of the holy name. And Lord Chaitanya had become a prominent Sanskrit scholar at a very young age. So Lord Chaitanya had come to Varanasi, and over there he stayed with his devotees. He stayed in the house of a devotee called Chandrasekhar. So Lord Chaitanya's devotees met him and said, we can't stand these Mayavadi sannyasis are criticizing you so much. And what was the criticism of the Mayavadi sannyasis? What was the criticism? He's such a prominent Sanskrit scholar, why is he chanting like a madman? He's chanting the holy name is like a madman. Just like when you go on Harinam, people say, these guys are crazy. So, 500 years ago, a Mayavadi sannyasi was saying, Lord Chaitanya is crazy. So Lord Chaitanya, at the request of his devotees, proceeded to where these Mayavadi sannyasis were located. They were having a big sabha. And the leader of the Mayavadi sannyasis was Prakashananda Saraswati. So Lord Chaitanya was very practiced humility, preached the importance of humility. All the Mayavadi sannyasis were sitting on a very high platform. Lord Chaitanya, when he came there, he sat down where people wash their feet before entering the temple room. And he displayed one of his superhuman activities. He displayed so much effulgence coming from his body, from his face, that when the Mayavadi sannyasis saw that, so much effulgence equal to thousands of suns and moons put together, they could see this man is not ordinary. So Lord Chaitanya was taken on the stage by Prakashananda Saraswati. Prakashananda Saraswati came, took Lord Chaitanya by the hand and made him sit down on a higher platform. Prabhupada explains over here that Prakashananda Saraswati engaged in ajñānāt. So he said, "You are such a prominent scholar. Why don't you sit down and study the Vedanta? What is this chanting the holy name that you do all the time?" And what did Lord Chaitanya say? My spiritual master considered me to be a fool. So he said, this is all you're capable of doing. And since I started chanting the holy name, I got so attached, now I can't stop chanting the holy name. Lord Chaitanya started the Saṅkīrtitam movement in Navadvip. So when he started the Saṅkīrtitam movement of chanting the holy name in Navadvip, the Mohammedans who were ruling Bengal at that time, they objected. They went to the local Qazi and said, we must stop the sannyasis chanting of the holy name, and if we don't stop, everyone will get converted to this path. So the Qazi said, you always come and complain to me to stop the holy name. Whenever I see you, I see you chanting the holy name. What is that? On one hand you are complaining, on the other hand you say, I see you chanting. He said, it's a fact. Since I got introduced to the holy name, I just can't stop chanting. The holy name is so attractive. So the holy name can change our lives. The holy name can give you real benefit. So the second stage is the stage of minimizing offenses. And the top stage is the stage of purified chanting. So the holy name chanted knowingly or unknowingly, it is beneficial. But one who is intelligent wants to chant the holy name, avoiding the offenses. The holy name, where is it descending from? Descending from the spiritual book. Thakur Bhaktivinoda gave us many wonderful books. Thakur Bhaktivinoda is the Acharya who re-established the pure teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After the Lord's departure, the teachings had got distorted, and Thakur Bhaktivinoda re-established the pure principles of Bhakti Yoga and the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in one of his writings, Jeev Jago, he says, I have brought the medicine from the spiritual world. What is that medicine? Chanting of the holy name. This chanting of the holy name is coming from where? From the spiritual world. So holy name is very powerful. You chant knowingly or unknowingly, you are going to benefit. And if you chant attentively, then the holy name is extremely powerful. Gopal Goswami says, the holy names are sweet like sugar candy. Sugar candy is sweet. The qualities of the Lord are also sweet like sugar candy. But because our tongue is afflicted with avidya, what does avidya mean? We can't taste the sweetness of the holy name. So, somebody may say, oh, Lord Chaitanya says there is avidya, so how will we get attracted to the holy name? What does Thakur What does Gopal Goswami say? The holy name, if chanted attentively, regularly, it will cleanse the heart and you will experience the sweetness of the holy name. So holy name is powerful in any situation. But if we chant attentively, then the holy name is even more powerful. Now, what does it mean, chant attentively? Many times when we talk about the holy name, people say, oh, when I sit on the chant, my mind wanders and so on. At least when you're chanting the holy name, just concentrate on hearing the sound vibration. Don't worry if the mind wanders, as Prabhupada often said. Hear it attentively. And if you hear the holy name attentively, what happens? What are some of the benefits of chanting the holy name? Who knows? Quickly, quickly. Chetana Paramarjanam. The heart gets cleansed. The heart is heavily contaminated due to innumerable desires. So that begins to get cleansed. And you keep chanting, you keep chanting. You never stop chanting. There's something else that happens also. What happens? Ananda Bodhi, you get unending spiritual happiness. And detachment, yes. As you chant the holy name, you get more attached to the positive and detached from the negative. We have seen all over the world, in every culture. You go to China, you go to Russia, you go to... Once they start chanting the holy name, the heart begins to get cleansed. And we have our own experience, each of you. On days when you chant the holy name attentively, you feel enthusiastic. Is that right? Yes or no?
Yes.
This is not something theoretical. Krishna consciousness is not theoretical knowledge. It is practical knowledge. You can you can experience it yourself. If you chant attentively, you feel enthusiastic. You feel enthusiastic to chant and serve. And if you're not so careful in chanting, then what happens? Maya continues to be attractive. So we have this spiritual process. Devesha gunamai mama maya vivataya means very difficult. So Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna says, to overcome this illusory energy is very difficult. Illusory energy means, illusory energy makes us feel this material body is meant for sense enjoyment. But if you surrender to me, then you can overcome the influence of this illusory energy. So Krishna has said, if you chant the holy name, if you engage in devotional service, you will be able to overcome Maya. So similarly, Rupa Goswami says, the holy name is sweet, but because we are so afflicted with avidya, we can't taste the sweetness of the holy name. When we chant the holy name regularly, then what will happen? The heart will get cleansed. So we hear every day the importance of chanting the holy name. Whether a new bhakta is giving a class or an old devotee, the message is the same. And that is chant the holy name attentively. And unfortunately, our mind, our senses are so active, just hearing once is not enough. Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Gita says, repetition is necessary to drive the point home. Just like in the material world, they have advertising. You see the same product being advertised everywhere. For example, the cell phone or anything. Why do they advertise everywhere? You already know there's a telephone known as Samsung or Apple. Why do they advertise everywhere? They are reminding you. They are reminding you what? You want to buy a telephone? Buy the. So similarly, we need to be reminded. And then how do you get reminded? In the Srimad Bhagavatam class, in the lectures, we hear Shukadeva Goswami making the same point again and again. Shukadeva Goswami, right now, 1st canto to 12th canto, is presenting the point of devotional service. So, through the story of Ajmer, we understand, Prabhu, through the story of Ajmer, we understand that the holy name, chanted attentively or inattentively, is beneficial. Now, this doesn't mean, we say, oh, they're both equal, so why do I have to be attentive? Well, the different degrees of benefit. Just like Krishna says, all of them, as a son unto me, I reward them accordingly. So, even if somebody says, look at that crazy Hare Krishna, he benefits. But then if you chant the holy name with attentively, obviously the holy name is going to be more beneficial. So the holy name is our most important weapon, and our concentration should be to improve the quality of the holy name. And if you improve the quality, Krishna helps. Prabhupada used to say, you take one step towards Krishna, Krishna will take how many? 9 steps, 10 steps towards you. You just take one step. You just make a tiny effort. I want to chant the holy name nicely. I want to do the love of God. And Krishna will go out of his way to help you. So by regular hearing, Nasta Paresha Bhareshu Nityam Bhagavad uttamaśloka-nāma Bhakti Bhavati Nayasake. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam class, all the inner space is destroyed. And what gets established? Loving devotional service to the Lord. So the process is very clear. We have Prabhupada established Krishna conscious centers all over the world. And all over the world, this formula is working. So we should read, hear these days, thanks to Internet. Internet is positive and negative. There's both a plus side and a minus side. The smartphones that you have, they're both a blessing and a curse. They're a blessing if you're going to install DD pictures there. If you're going to put proper picture, you're going to put Prabhupada's books there. Then is a blessing. And it can also be a curse. When is it a curse? When you use your smartphone for mundane things. Actually, in many temples now, we don't allow smartphones. Devotees are not allowed to have smartphones. I'm especially talking about the brahmachari devotees. Why? Because smartphones can also be misused. And they do get misused very badly. So, the brahmacharis in most of our Indian temples, they just have these small phones. Because smartphones, as I said, is a blessing and a curse. Bhakti Siddhanta ji used to say, the materialists will invent technology and devotees will use it in service of the Lord. So who has visualized a day will come when you can carry Prabhupada books in your pocket? Yeah. And I know so many devotees in America, they're in office, but they're reading the Srimad Bhagavatam because it's all on it's in the computer. So we should use technology in service to the Lord. So to summarize the verse, Shukadeva Goswami is saying, the holy name chanted attentively or inattentively is going to be beneficial. But we should understand the holy name when chanted attentively is more beneficial. And the holy name is coming from the spiritual world. It's not a product of this material world. That's why you can chant the holy name day and night and not get tired. Do you ever feel, I've been chanting the holy name for 30 years, no, I'm tired? No. In the material world, you see, people look forward to vacations. You study in school, they want to break after every few months. I don't know the Indian judicial system, but in India, in the judicial system, every few months they go on a holiday. Why? Why do people look forward to holidays? Well, they're tired of what they're doing and they want to change. Do we ever say, we've been chanting the holy name for so long, we need a holiday, 1 month break? No. So the holy name can be chanted day and night. Haridas Thakur used to chant 100,000 times every day. So the holy name should be chanted attentively. The holy name is descending from the spiritual world. The holy name is not different from the Lord. The materialists often say, you're chanting the holy name again and again, you people are brainwashed. Prabhupada gave us a story, I think I told you before. There was once a deaf husband. He was addressing his wife, come here, come here. She was cooking in the kitchen and she was saying, I'm coming. Finally he got impatient and what did he say? Are you deaf? You can't hear. Actually he was deaf. So Prabhupada gave this example to show the materialists are all brainwashed by the illusory energy. And through the chanting of the holy name, we try to cleanse the heart. And people say, we are brainwashing. What we are doing, we are undoing the brainwashing, removing the dirt. So this holy name is our most important activity. And the Srimad Bhagavatam, from beginning to end, emphasizes the importance of the holy name. And this is also common in all the other scriptures. In the Bible it is said, thou shalt always chant the names of the Lord. So this chanting the holy name is our most important activity. And we should chant attentively. And in the association of devotees, you hear about the importance of the holy name again and again. So we need to hear again and again, mainly because our mind is so fickle that we need to hear again and again for the point to be emphasized. And reading, hearing helps us to become attached to the holy name. And we keep chanting, and as Lord Chaitanya said, if we cultivate the mood of humility, then this chanting is most beneficial. Kirtanadi Sadhari. So, endeavor to chant. Lord Chaitanya propagated the chanting of the holy name. And Lord Chaitanya did not discriminate who was fit, who was unfit. The scriptures say, just like the clouds when they pour water, they don't see when the water is falling on water, mountains, lake, it falls everywhere. So a devotee, when he preaches the holy name to everyone. And the holy name is our most important activity. So we should chant the holy name and preach the message of chanting to everyone. Hare Krishna. I want to leave some time for questions. I think 7:35. We'll take questions for 5 minutes. No questions? Yes. Can you speak louder? Chanting attentively doesn't mean your mind won't disturb you. Chanting attentively means that even if chanting your japa, let this be your main activity, your only activity. Not that I'm doing japa, speaking on the phone, doing some other job, talking to people. Just like when you eat prasad, you like eating with concentration. You're eating prasad and someone came, every minute, this, what do you know this? And what do you say? Let me eat in peace. So that's why we recommend, especially those who live in the temple, and even those who live at home, chant in the morning. In the morning, it's easier to practice chanting with other devotees. Mind wanders, let it wander. But at least chant. Just when the mind wanders, don't get scared. Okay. Okay. Quick. Yes. Which mood? See, your thinking should be, I want to make spiritual advancement. I want to get taste for the holy name. Sometimes people say, I'm chanting for such a long time, I still don't have a taste. Nothing's wrong with the mantra. The problem is, we're not taking the medicine properly. So your desire should be, I want to make spiritual advancement. And to make spiritual advancement, this is the effort that I have to do. Nothing has come free. Krishna says, Sarvadhamam paritarya mamekam ham samsva papeva moksha samimana. give up all varieties of religiousness and surrender to me. And if you surrender, I will protect you. Krishna says, I'll protect you, but he says only if you surrender to me. So, the chanting of the holy name is our most important activity for spiritual advancement. So you have to make an effort. You want a good job, you work hard to look for a job. You want good grades in education, you have to make an effort. So similarly, if you want to develop love of God, you also have to make an effort. Nothing comes without effort. Okay? Any more? Yeah. Yes, sir.
God has created this whole world, and still we see a lot of negative things and a lot of things are there. So why he has not made everything good and peaceful rather than we go?
In other words, there should be no Maya, no movie halls, no clubs. None. Maya is there, but we wanted to taste Maya. That's why the Lord created. And now you can see it doesn't matter how much material success you have, you can't be happy. You can't be happy in material life. Material life, you can have all the success. Hiranyakashipu, he had unlimited access to everything, but still he was not satisfied. In the Bhagavatam 9th canto, you read the story of a king called King Yayati. He had unlimited opportunities. But in the end he said, I was like a lusty goat. So Krishna gives us both the opportunities, Maya and devotional service. And we have to decide which path we want to take. You can't tell you commit a murder and you can't tell the judge. The government should blame. Why did they create this situation? So Maya is there, but Krishna tells us how to free ourselves. Okay, any more? Yes. Okay. I'm sorry, I need somebody to.
People who chant the holy name once they get the benefit immediately, but people who've been chanting for a long time don't fall to the offensive within us.
Can you repeat?
Saying if one chants the holy name once, he gets the entire benefit. So why should we chant every day?
Who says if you just chant once, you will cleanse your heart partially. But not if you chant once and you go back to God. It's not so simple. In order to develop love, I once asked Prabhupada, will everyone go back to God in ISKCON? Prabhupada said, no, unless you practice devotional service rigidly, you can't go back to God. We have to keep chanting, stay with devotee association, so that our heart continues to get cleansed. Just like people say, if you take part in Rath Yatra, then you can go back to Godhead. No. If you take part in Rath Yatra or any of these festivals, your heart gets cleansed, but you need to practice that system regularly, all the time. Then you can go back to Godhead. Yeah.
Is there a difference between offensive chanting and inauthentic?
There is. Offensive chanting can be, actually, offensive chanting means you are taking part in the 10 offenses and chanting. Inattentive chanting means it is more or less the same thing. Inattentive chanting means you're chanting, but at the same time you're doing other activities. But inattentive chanting can also be non-offensive. But offensive chanting means when you're chanting and committing one or two or three of the offenses. Our goal should be to go towards purified chanting. Yes?
Thank you so much. Thank you for a wonderful lecture. My question is, there's no difference. There's no difference between Krishna and his name. So why did he say the name is more merciful than Krishna?
Well, the name is more merciful in a sense. The name is so easy to chant. You don't have to be a Sanskrit scholar to be able to chant the holy name. You follow? Even those people who had never heard of the holy name, you can tell them to chant Hare Krishna, they can chant. The chanting is so easy. Lord Chaitanya said, there's no hard and fast rule for chanting the holy name. Just chant. So, Lord Chaitanya has made the whole process so simple. Is this your question? Okay. No question from the ladies? No. Okay. Tricky question. No. Holy name is a key. Shravanam Kirtanam. That is the foundation for everything else. If you say, I'm attracted to the deity, but I have no taste for the holy name, then the holy name is the foundation. If you chant the holy name, it will be easier to execute the others. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Acham, Vanyam, Nasam, Sakhyam, Advaita. The reason why actually the ninefold process was explained by Narada Muni. The reason why Shravanam, Kirtanam is first, this is the foundation. And if you have a taste for the holy name, then it's easier to practice the others. Okay, should we stop? I'm just worried about darshan.
We said we encourage other religious groups like Christian, Prabhupada to say they should chants name of Christ, they can go and chant.
When Prabhupada went to Iran in 1976, he was talking to some mullahs. He said, chant the names of Allah, but chant the names of God.
Do they get some benefit like chanting Hare Krishna or mantra? They benefit the same when they chant them of Allah or Jesus Christ?
You can chant the holy names of the Lord, any bona fide names of God, not concocted name of God. But as you chant, and if you are getting purified, then your desire will also be, you can also get elevated to the level where you chant the Hare Krishna. But it's not that you can chant the names of, chant any name, you get the same benefit. The holy name is all powerful. Okay. Any more? Yes. What is the best way? What is the best? The best way to the holy name is to constantly endeavor to improve the quality of your japa. Don't be satisfied. I'm chanting, doesn't matter how I chant. That's okay for the beginners. But then if you want to taste ruchi, then you have to follow the guidelines. You understand? Nothing comes without making an effort. And the key is attentive chanting. This chanting is the solution to all your problems. And the cause of all the problems is not chanting properly. You follow what I'm saying? Many times devotees say, I want to be humble. What do I need to do? I want to be determined. What do I need to do? One solution. Chant holy name. And if you don't chant properly, then that becomes the cause of all the anarthas. Okay, we better stop now. Thank you very much.